If you're listening in and you happen to be a business owner, especially like down under in Australia, you've probably heard of SEO. It's like this magic wand. Everyone keeps talking about it, but
It can get pretty overwhelming, right?
yeah, totally
There's
overwhelming.
just so much out there and it never stops changing.
Exactly.
But to be honest, consistent SEO doesn't have to be this big, complicated thing.
That does make me feel better.
Yeah.
So you sent over this blog post for our deep dive today, and it's from this Australian company. Now, technology systems, they do all sorts of web stuff, but they seem to really know their SEO. And they seem to be big on consistency.
Yeah, they are.
What's the main thing they want us to take away?
Well, their big idea is that consistency in your SEO, that's how search engines notice you. It's like, think about it. When you're always updating your website with fresh content, stuff that's relevant, it tells Google, hey, this site, it's Alarif, it's trustworthy, it's worth showing to people.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it can't just be about making Google happy, right?
No, definitely not.
We've got to think about the actual people visiting our sites, too.
Absolutely. In fact, consistent SEO, it benefits your website visitors just as much as your search rankings. Think about it when you're browsing online.
Yeah.
Are you going to stick around a website that looks like it hasn't been touched in months?
No way.
Or one that has new blog posts?
Yeah.
Information that's up to date, something that feels like there's life there.
Yeah, for sure. I want the one that feels updated and fresh. It's like walking into a store. You want to see new stuff, not the same old display from last year.
Exactly. So keeping your website updated with good content that's relevant, that makes for a way better user experience.
Right.
And when people actually enjoy being on your site, they're more likely to come back to spend more time there and maybe even become customers.
So it sounds like consistent SEO is a win-win. It keeps Google happy, keeps users happy, and it makes our businesses stronger.
Absolutely.
But how do we actually do this?
Yeah.
Especially when we're already juggling a million things.
Right.
I think the blog post had some steps for us, right?
It did. Now, technology systems, they outline 5 key steps to achieving SEO consistency. And honestly, they're more manageable than you might think.
Okay, I'm ready. What's number 1?
So it all starts with setting clear SEO goals. A lot of business owners, they just think, I want to be number 1 on Google.
Yeah.
But that's not really a goal, is it? That's more like a wish.
It's like saying you want to win the lottery. Sounds good, but it's not exactly a plan.
Exactly. You got to get specific. Do you want more people to visit your site overall? Or are you trying to rank higher for certain keywords that are really relevant to your business? Or maybe you want more sales that come directly from people finding you on Google. Having those goals set, that helps you measure your progress and stay focused.
So it's like setting any other business goal. You have to know what you're aiming for and how you'll know if you've made it. Makes sense. What's the next step?
All right, so once you have those goals, it's time to create a content calendar. Now, I know it sounds really basic, but honestly, this is one of the best ways to stay organized and keep things consistent.
I can see that. When I don't have a plan, things get forgotten. It's like trying to make dinner without a grocery list. You just end up with random ingredients and no real meal.
That's a great analogy. That's exactly it. A content calendar helps you plan out your blog posts. Social media updates, anything you're creating so you're not scrambling at the last minute. It also gives you a chance to think strategically about what kind of content will help you reach those SEO goals.
Content calendar. Got it. That's something we can start working on today. What's the third step?
Step 3 is performance evaluation, which, that might sound kind of scary, but really it's just checking in on your progress. Now, technology systems, they recommend using tools like Google Analytics. It's this free platform, and it gives you all kinds of data about the people who are visiting your website.
Wait, hold on. For those of us who aren't super tech-savvy, can you break down what Google Analytics actually does? Like, what kind of information can we actually get from it?
Of course. So Google Analytics, it tracks things like how many people visit your site, where they're coming from, which pages they're looking at, how long they stay. It's like this gold mine of information. And it can really help you understand what's working and what needs to be improved. So for example, let's say you see a page with a high bounce rate. That's like the percentage of people who leave after just looking at one page.
Okay.
It might be a sign that the content on that page isn't interesting enough.
So instead of just creating content randomly, we can use Google Analytics to see what people actually like and then make decisions based on real data.
That's really cool.
It is. The fourth step is the one that tends to make people nervous. Adapting to algorithm changes Google. They're famous for updating their algorithms. And it can feel like the rules of the game are constantly changing.
I was just thinking that. It's like as soon as you figure out the system, They go and change everything up.
Right.
How are we supposed to keep up with Google when it's like trying to hit a moving target?
It's a challenge for sure, but it's not impossible. The key is to stay informed. Subscribe to some industry blogs, follow some SEO experts. Keep an eye on the big announcements from Google. And remember, they're not out to make life hard for website owners. Their goal is to make sure users are having the best possible experience. So when they update their algorithms, it's usually to reward websites that have high-quality content.
Okay. So we don't need to freak out every time Google tweets something, but we do need to stay informed and be ready to adapt.
Exactly.
What's the last step?
All right, so the last step, and this one is particularly important for our listeners in Australia, is leveraging local SEO. If you're trying to reach customers in Australia, you've got to make sure your website is set up for local searches. So that means using location-based keywords, creating content that's relevant to your region, and claiming your Google My Business listing.
So if I have a bakery in Perth, I want to make sure people searching for the best sourdough in Perth can actually find me, not some random bakery across the country. It's exactly. Local SEO helps you connect with those customers who are right in your area, which is huge for businesses that rely on people coming to their shop or serve a specific part of Australia.
So we've got our 5 steps to SEO consistency down. But now I want to get a little bit more hands-on.
Right.
What are some things our listener can start doing, like today, to make their SEO better?
It's all about that content calendar we talked about.
Oh, right.
That's where you're going to start.
Okay.
Even if it's just like a simple spreadsheet at first, just having a plan for your content, it makes a world of difference in staying consistent.
Content calendar check. But what kind of stuff should we be putting on there? Any tips for our listeners?
Think about your audience. What are they searching for?
Yeah.
Put yourself in their shoes. What questions do they have? What are those problems they're trying to solve? You want to create content that gives them valuable answers and solutions.
So if I'm like a personal trainer, I might write blog posts about common fitness myths,
Right.
or maybe make some videos showing people the right way to do exercises.
Exactly. You're giving people something useful and showing off your expertise at the same time.
Right.
And remember what Yale's Technology Systems was saying about localized content,
Yeah.
especially for businesses in Australia.
Right. So our personal trainer in Sydney might create content about the best outdoor workout spots in Sydney, or highlight some local fitness events happening.
Perfect. By tailoring your content to your local audience, you're going to attract the customers who are actually in your area and ready to use your services.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, another important part of SEO consistency is building backlinks.
Backlinks, those are links from other websites to your website, right?
You got it.
I know they're important, but I'm not really sure why.
Think of them like votes of confidence from other websites. When a good website links to yours,
Yeah.
it tells Google that your site is trustworthy and valuable.
Okay.
And the more good backlinks you have, the better your website's going to do in those search results.
So how do we actually get those backlinks?
Yeah.
It's not like we can just email people and demand they link to us, right?
I wish it were that easy. There are a few things you can try. Guest blogging is a good one. Reach out to other blogs in your industry and offer to write a post for them.
Great.
They get some free content, and you get a link back to your site.
So our personal trainer could write a guest post for a health and wellness blog and link back to their own website where people can sign up for training sessions.
Exactly. You can also team up with other businesses for joint ventures or cross-promotions. The key is to build relationships and create really great content that other websites will naturally want to link to.
So it's all about networking and adding value, kind of like SEO in general.
Exactly.
Speaking of networking, we can't forget about social media.
Right.
Now, I've heard that social media doesn't directly impact search rankings. Is that true?
That's right. Social media signals themselves don't directly affect your Google ranking,
Okay.
but they can play a huge role indirectly.
How so?
Well, when you share your content on social media, you're driving traffic to your website. You're increasing your brand's visibility, and you might even earn some backlinks. It all works together.
So even though a tweet itself won't make us rank higher, if that tweet gets people to click over to our website and they like what they see, that engagement could actually help us in the long run.
Exactly. Use social media to promote your blog posts, your videos, all your content.
Yeah.
Engage with your followers, answer their questions, and become a trusted voice in your industry. It all contributes to a stronger online presence, which ultimately benefits your SEO.
Social media check. Now let's talk about the actual writing. Any tips for making our content more SEO friendly without sounding like a robot?
First things first. Focus on writing content that's good, informative, and engaging for actual humans. Nobody wants to read a wall of text.
Right.
Break it up with headings, subheadings, bullet points, visuals. Think about how you read online.
Yeah,
You're more likely to stay on a website if it's easy on the eyes and gives you clear information.
exactly.
And don't forget to use keywords naturally throughout your content.
Okay.
Remember, we're not trying to stuff keywords in there. Just use them in a way that makes sense.
Right for humans first, search engine second. Got it. Now, you mentioned that we need to make sure our websites are optimized. What does that actually mean?
Basically, you want to make sure your website is structured in a way that search engines can easily understand. Use clear page titles and descriptions. Optimize your images with what's called alt text. That describes the image for people who can't see it, and use those header tags correctly.
So we're speaking Google's language.
You got it. And
Yeah.
once you've got your website all optimized, you want to submit it to Google Search Console.
Wait, what's Google Search Console?
It's a free tool from Google that lets you see how your website's doing in the search results. You can submit your sitemap, that's like a roadmap of your website, track your keywords, and even get alerts about any technical problems Google might be having with your site.
So it's like a direct line to Google about our website.
Exactly. It's super valuable for any business owner who's serious about SEO.
Okay, this is making a lot more sense now. But I gotta be honest, even with all these tips, SEO still feels like a long game. How long does it realistically take to see results from all our hard work?
That's a question I get a lot, and there's no easy answer. SEO isn't a quick fix. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Ugh, patience is not my strong suit.
I hear ya. But you know what they say? Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's true.
And just like building a city, building a strong online presence takes time and consistent effort. But the good news is the effort pays off. The more you create great content, optimize your website, and build those backlinks, the better your chances of seeing those rankings and traffic numbers go up over time.
And now technology systems, they said consistency is the key to long-term success in SEO. It's not about doing a ton of work once and then forgetting about it. It's about showing up and putting in the work regularly.
Absolutely. And even if you don't see big changes right away, you're still building a strong foundation for your online presence. You're building trust with Google, with other websites, and most importantly, with the people you want to reach.
Okay, I'm feeling motivated again. But I think we should acknowledge that SEO can feel pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially for small business owners who are already doing everything.
That's a lot.
Any advice for them on where to even begin?
Start small. Pick one or two things we talked about today and just do them consistently. Maybe you create that content calendar, or start optimizing your website for local searches.
Small, consistent steps. Less intimidating than trying to do everything at once.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There are tons of resources online, and you can always talk to an SEO expert if you need some guidance.
And of course now, technology systems, they offer SEO services specifically for businesses in Australia. Their expertise in the Australian market could be a big help.
Definitely. They could be a great resource for businesses that want to step up their SEO game. Okay, we've covered a lot today, but the main thing to remember is SEO consistency. It's about building a strong foundation for your online success in the long run.
It's not about tricks or shortcuts. It's about creating good content, optimizing your website, building relationships, and just showing up regularly.
Exactly. And when you do those things, you'll attract more customers, build up your brand, and set yourself up to achieve those business goals.
Sounds like a good plan. We'll be right back after a quick break to wrap up this deep dive. Okay, we're back. And you know, as we've been talking about all these different strategies, I've realized there's something we haven't really talked about.
What's that?
The mental game of SEO.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy to get discouraged when you don't see results right away.
Oh, totally. I think a lot of people, they think they'll just, optimize their website once and then boom, they're at the top of Google forever.
Right.
But it doesn't really work like that, does it?
It's more like gardening, right? You got to keep tending to it, pruning, weeding, adjusting to the seasons. You can't just plant a seed and expect it to magically grow into a beautiful flower.
Exactly. SEO is an ongoing thing. You've got to keep an eye on your progress, analyze that data, and make changes as you go. The internet is constantly evolving, so your SEO strategy has to evolve with it.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Definitely not.
What are some ways we can monitor our SEO performance to make sure we're on the right track?
Well, we already talked about Google Analytics. That's a great tool for keeping track of website traffic. But there are other tools out there that can help you monitor your search rankings, track your backlinks, and even analyze your competition.
So you can see how we measure up against the other guys.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary, but also kind of exciting. Like a little friendly rivalry.
It can be helpful to see what your competitors are doing well and maybe where they're falling short. But remember, SEO isn't about beating your competitors. You really want to focus on providing value to your audience.
Right. It's not a zero-sum game.
Exactly. If we're all making good content and optimizing our websites, it creates a better experience for everyone, businesses and users.
Exactly. And when you focus on giving people something valuable, you're naturally going to attract more customers, build a stronger online presence, and ultimately reach your goals.
Right.
And the higher rankings will come.
They usually do.
Yeah.
Because when you're consistently putting out great content and optimizing your site, you're telling Google, hey, we're a relevant and authoritative source in this industry.
It always comes back to consistency, doesn't it?
It really does. SEO is a marathon, not a sprint. So be patient with yourself, celebrate the small wins along the way, and don't be afraid to try new things and adjust your strategy as you learn.
That's great advice. You know, something that really stuck with me from the Now Technology Systems blog post.
What's that?
They said consistency in SEO is about ensuring your business not only survives, but flourishes online. What does flourishing online look like to you?
That's a great question. I think for me, it means having a strong online presence, one that brings in the customers I'm looking for. It means building trust and authority and ultimately helping me achieve my goals. It's about showing up consistently, giving people valuable content, and engaging with my audience in a meaningful way.
I love that. And it makes me think, what does flourishing online look like for you, our listener? What are your goals, and how can consistent SEO help you reach them?
Yeah, that's something to really consider. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, it helps you stay motivated and put in the effort to make it happen.
So true. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From why consistency in SEO matters to practical tips for creating content, optimizing your website, even using Google Search Console. We've given you a really solid foundation.
And remember, even those small, consistent efforts can make a big difference over time. Pick one thing you learned today and start doing it.
Don't let SEO overwhelm you. Just start with one step, then another, and keep building from there. We're confident that if you put in the effort, you can achieve amazing things online.
And if you ever need a reminder of how powerful consistency can be, just think back to this deep dive and all the things we talked about.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you found this deep dive helpful and inspiring. And until next time, keep diving deep and keep flourishing online.